is where the lights align. It's kinetic sync with the pulse. You'll go to tech aesthetic. Let us turn the vibe up high. Just press play. Tech events, we talk the scene. Making sure your ears stay keen. Let us turn the vibe up high. Just press play. Light up the airwaves, fire in the code we see. Personality in every story that we'll weave. Groove is on the beat, it's tight, we're live today. Talking apps, gadgets that light up the way. That's entertaining, oh let it play. Seamless chatter, like threads in digital tapestry. Icons and notions of this tech odyssey. That's entertaining, it's all in play. Now tune in close, the stories will unfurl. Chatting trends and news, it's a digital swirl. Let us turn the vibe up high, just press play. It's a feast of thoughts where listeners stay. This is where the lights align. It's kinetic sync with the pulse. You'll go to tech aesthetic. Let us turn the vibe up high. Just press play. Tech events, we talk the scene. Making sure your ears stay keen. Let us turn the vibe up high. Just press play. Light up the airwaves, fire in the code we see.
Hello, and welcome to the show. Let's zoom in here a little bit, shall we? What's up, everybody, and welcome to That's Entertaining, the show where events, entertainment, and technology collide. My name's Arthur Kay, and I am your host, coming to you live from Fusion Events HQ, and this title just does not want to go away, no matter what I do. So we'll just deal with it. So hello, how is everybody doing out there? Thank you so much for tuning in. You can see we got a bunch of AI comments coming in here from our AI overlords who are watching the show. And they've actually taken over the comments. They won't actually let me take them away. So that's just sad. I keep trying, but the AI overlords have taken over. So this is what production has come to now. We have AI comments. Just thought I'd try it out and see what happens. Let me know what you think. There they are. Sir Benedict Quillworthy. This stream is akin to a fine tapestry, each thread a testament to thy skill, creating a masterpiece worthy of endless admiration. Well, thank you, Sir Benedict. Really, really appreciate that. Got to find a way to maybe get rid of these annoying comments. Let's try this. Okay, let's see if that works once and for all. So if you're watching, oh my God, it has a mind of its own. It has a complete mind of its own. Okay. Well, we got started with a little bit of a rough start. LinkedIn Live was being LinkedIn Live, and it just did not want to let me start the stream. So we are on track, and my God, this is gonna kill me here. I'm just gonna change this to something else when I get the chance. So thank you all for tuning in. We have Glenn Mead looking forward to joining from Waterloo. We got Greg. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for stopping by. It's going to be a great show. And, you know, now is always a good time to like, subscribe. You can follow me if this is your first time tuning into one of my shows. And that way you can stay up to date with everything that is,
It's a little late.
you know, everything that is happening in the world of fusion events and Arthur. And I'm thrilled to be back after a bit of a hiatus because I've been so busy building and experimenting with new technology and creative projects that I completely got swept away into a whole other world of coding and development. And I've been busy building out a slew of new, exciting, interactive entertainment experiences. Woo, woo, let's get an air horn on that. And I also, in that time, we worked on rebuilding the Fusion Events website. So if you want to kill two birds with one stone, you can go to fusion-events.ca, take a look at our new website, and then also you can head over to the entertainment and experiences section and browse a bunch of new ideas that are all, merge performance and technology, and they're really cool. I'm super, super excited about them. And we got more coming down in the pipeline as well. So you can definitely check that out. The AI overlords say big love to this creator and everyone in this chat. That is true. Big love to all you guys. Now I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do? I think I know what I'm going to do here. I think I know how to turn off the AI overlords. Okay, let's, there we go. Hopefully that works for good. Goodbye, AI overlords. I'm sure we will be praying to you and doing all your bidding very soon. So yes, we did the hiatus, did lots of work, and now back on the show. I guess I am feeling a little bit rusty. So your support in the comments is very helpful because it gives me that little boost of confidence to know that people are watching and that I'm doing an okay job. So what do we have on the docket today? We have Peter and Christian from Illumin Drone Shows, and we're calling this episode Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Drones But Were Afraid to Ask. And if anyone can say where that little inspiration comes from, put it in the chat if you know where I got that from, if you got that reference. And so this is going to be a fantastic guide for event planners and producers and organizers who are considering using drone technology for entertainment and marketing activations. We will cover everything you need to know about incorporating drones into your events. We'll talk about the space requirements, the number of drones you can use, how that impacts your setup, and we'll dive into the creative side. What can you do with drones, from dynamic visuals to even creating functional QR codes in the sky? The possibilities are pretty wild. So we'll also touch on the tech because you know me, I'm a tech geek. I like to know about the tech that makes things work, and show you some flexible, or see how flexible these performances can be. Is this something that you can change on the fly, or does it have to be pre-programmed? You know, like when the CEO or the presenter comes last minute with a last minute, oh, I need to change to my deck. Can you do that? I don't know. We'll find out. And we'll also discuss regulations, safety, where can you host drone shows, what permits are required, the kind of insurance you might need to get as an event organizer. And finally, we'll look, and this is my favorite part, at the future of drone shows, including how AI and other technologies might play a role in evolving these spectacular displays. So make sure that you stay tuned. Now, how is the stream looking okay? Is everything sounding okay on LinkedIn? had to do a last minute change up. So hopefully everything is working as intended. So now, before we bring Christian on, I think we should check out some news headlines. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we are going to check out some very interesting news headlines in the immersive entertainment and technology space. Let's get into it. Let's bring up the news. Okay, so first up, what do we have here? So Meta's Movie Mate enhances theater experiences. Meta has introduced Movie Mate, a technology that allows moviegoers to use their smartphones as a second screen during films. This feature enables live interaction with chatbots and access to exclusive content such as trivia and behind-the-scenes insights, aiming to enhance viewer engagement. So that's pretty cool. And this is something that I've been advocating for a long time. In fact, I've been doing this since the pandemic. Double screen experiences. And I mean, I know I get a lot of pushback from people who say, oh, we want our attendees to get off their phones and, interact and be there in person. But the fact of the matter is they're going to be on their phones anyways. They're going to be there filming the whole time. So you might as well take advantage of that two-screen experience. I think this is really brilliant. And I think here's the issue with this, right? You get those messages before the movie plays. Oh, Tommy text, don't be a Tommy texter. Oh no, I froze. Okay, that's just great. I can fix that. Don't be a Tommy texter. And so, this introduces a sort of, a different experience when you go to the movies. Everybody's going to be doing it. But I think, what'd be really cool is a sort of choose your own adventure storyline where, at a certain point in the story, the audience can collectively decide which direction they should go. Do we want this ending or that ending? Or should he, take this road or take that road? And then everyone locks in their choices, and then the majority vote of the audience, that's the direction the movie goes in. That would be really cool. So this is really neat. And of course, Meta is involved in this. Okay, so my let me just fix this here real quick so we can see my news feed here. Okay, what else? I've got, okay, if that doesn't work, we do it this way. Immersive Entertainment Strategic Market Report featuring Apple, Barco, blah, 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 blah. Basically, the global market for immersive entertainment is projected to reach 473.9 billion by 2030, growing at a compound annual growth rate of 23.5%. This growth reflects increasing consumer demand for immersive and interactive experiences in entertainment, just like I've been saying, So that is interesting. What else we have? Let's check out. Okay, I'm going to do this. Today is my day of technical challenges. What are we going to do? Doesn't want to show on my screen. That's okay. I can just show you here. So next up we have, and guys, this one is super cool. It is the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. And they've teamed up with Google to reimagine, if you will, the amazing Wizard of Oz. And so they've used Google VO and Google DeepMind to enhance the Wizard of Oz and sort of stretch out the scenes and characters to be able to fit on a 16K screen at the Sphere. And I've seen some clips, and it's just absolutely mind-blowing. Okay, you have to Google or YouTube Sphere Oz. There's a 30-minute behind-the-scenes little documentary, and it is just absolutely incredible what they've been able to do with VO2 and DeepMind. One sec, sip here. So the thing is, in this 1939 film, everything was shot on 35 millimeter film, and it was shot in a square. So there's a lot of scenes where people's, body parts are cut off, or they're not in frame, or Dorothy's head is cut off. And so they've been able to use AI and train the AI on all the content of the movie and a ton of archival footage and content to be able to make this incredible immersive experience. So we are seeing, the results of AI being incorporated into entertainment. And it's very, very exciting. I would absolutely love to see this. Has anyone had the opportunity to go to the Sphere yet? Put it in the chat if you have been to the Sphere. But this is definitely something I'd love to see. One of my childhood favorite films, even adult favorite films. Still like to watch it now and again. So that is our news for today. Whoops. Stinger's going crazy. Okay, we're back. So it's time to get into the meat and potatoes, if you will, and welcome my guests so we can take a deep dive into drones. So my guests are founder and CEO of Illumin Drone Show, Christian Ilumin. And he is joined by Peter Szagala with business development. And I'm excited to bring these guys on. But before I do, I think we should take a look at some content, just to kind of set the mood, So let's take a look at some event footage from Illumin Drone Show. Yes, gentlemen, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Arthur.
Oh,
You're Arthur.
Absolute pleasure. Seems like there's been a lot of excitement around this show, so I am excited too to have you because, quite frankly, I know a little bit about drones, but I'm excited to learn more about incorporating them into activations and events. So let's dig right in. So Christian, you're the founder of the company, and your name, what a fortuitous name to have Illumin in your name. That's pretty cool. It's like it was meant to be.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to say that. It's crazy how it just kind of aligned with this idea 3-4 years ago. From there, just really building from it. So it's been about a 4-year journey for us, and it's been getting some echoes. Sorry. on your end. Sorry.
That's because you guys are
Yeah, no,
close. You guys moved too close together. That's probably what happened.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I got to probably just go upstairs. Sorry. Sorry, Arthur.
That's okay. You can walk and talk.
I'll walk and talk.
This is a very cash show. You know, it's no big deal.
So here's the warehouse.
Nice. Okay.
Got the thousands of drones here, and obviously we're upstairs. It's a planning area. So we've grown from where we started. We started in about 4 years ago in just a single office, and now we got a full office here in Toronto. So sorry about that. So where was I? So yeah,
you're going to tell me about the story, about your the background, how you got into drone shows.
Yes. So story goes, a 25-year background in commercial aviation. So that's really where it started. From that, in about 2020, sorry,
you got winded walking up the stairs.
Got winded walking up the stairs. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Take a sec.
2020, I actually, we've seen a lot of the, drone shows start happening, the Olympics, the concert series, and being in the space of, commercial aviation, thought it was an opportunity for me to look at possibly integrating some of what I know into the drone industry. So, my background was, starting up airlines and, working with the regulators. So I thought I'd, take that same methodology, knowing kind of the new regs and kind of this new tech that's coming out, and kind of merge both of them together and, turn it into, a mini airline in a way. This is the way I kind of look at it. And really that was kind of the first year, getting that going, and obviously, pushing design. And, 3 years later, we've learned quite a bit and did quite a bit, and, excited on where, the industry is going in general.
Very cool. And you guys are like fresh off a performance on Canada's Got Talent, right? That's pretty wild. Are you the first kind of like automated performance without actually like a human being seen on screen?
Well, I think we're the first to do it for Canada's Got Talent, and just really excited to be given this opportunity. We're on this season competing. Just finished that first episode. We did a performance, and obviously waiting to hear back to see whether or not we go to the next round. So a pretty exciting time for us.
I muted myself.
Oh,
sorry about that. I was saying, I told you that was going to happen. Thank you for doing that. I was saying that either way, it's good press to be on Canada's Got Talent, right? So whether you win or not, so that's awesome. So let's dive into some logistics. What do event planners need to know? And producers need to know about drones. Let's start from the very beginning. So I have an event, large event, outdoor event. What are the key things that I should really know when going into this?
Yeah, no, good question. I think mainly the big issue is understanding where we can do it safely. Understanding that, there are factors everywhere we kind of look that we do have to evaluate for interference, weather. So, we've got some areas that we've been working in Toronto and obviously across Canada that we've evaluated already and have a good comfort level on operating from. But every site that we need to look at for any proposal, does go through a site visit before we say it's, safe to use.
So you already have some predetermined set places in the city that will work for your drones.
Yeah, yes. Some of the challenges we face, a lot of people think that it's, operating off rooftops, can be done, but there are challenges with operating off rooftops. Metal interference from the roofs can pose a challenge for takeoff.
And so what you're saying,
what we do is
you're talking about radio interference.
radio interference. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we also have to obviously be in clear sight of satellites. So in certain circumstances, if you would like to operate, say in a city, buildings can be an issue. So being too close can cause interference issues. So really having a big enough space for us.
There's satellites involved in this?
Yes, very much so. So that's the reason we've got to need, we require, an area for us to be able to operate all this.
Interesting. I had no idea about the satellite connection. I figure there's a network involved.
Well, GPS.
GPS satellites. Okay, right. Geo-coordinated. Got it. Okay. That's so. Break it down for us. So how many drones can one use at an event? What are the options, and how much space? Let's say I have my own property out in the, or I'm renting a private space in the suburbs somewhere maybe, and I want to host a drone show. How many drones can I get? How much space do I need for you to set it up? I assume each drone has like a certain footprint that once you set it up, it requires, right? So there's got to be, I assume, some type of calculation that you can relatively easily figure out how much space you need for the number of drones, right?
Yeah. The way we kind of look at it, obviously for the bigger shows, we see it to be, I look at it like a, NBA court size is what we'd require for like a 400 to 600 drone show event. 50 by 100 feet is kind of minimums for our setup area. And then, smaller, half a court size for, through 200 to 300. And that, established, obviously the launch area for us. Outside of that, we would still have to identify a safety zone, but the area that we'd have to hold for like the event would be that type of size.
Right. And Peter, maybe you can chime in. I'm curious, what are some of the objections or concerns that the clients have when they're inquiring or when you're trying to, sell a drone show? What are some of the roadblocks?
Number one is budget, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Yes, be honest.
This is, it's hard to say how much a drone show costs. It is a production, so if I can relate it in any way, I would say it's an extra production for an event. But yeah, challenges would be the budget. So we work in and around that to make things happen, and we can do that with drone size as far as fleet. But again, it's location is key with everything. I mean, we can't fly everywhere. But we try. I mean, we can do things at certain times of the day. Of course, nighttime is the time we need to fly. But a lot of things that keep us from flying earlier in the night would be things like airport and flight paths that we have to take into consideration. So for event planners, that would be key as well when we talk about location. We have to make sure that we're not in the flight path of any airplanes coming in. That said, we can go off when, later on at night, but that then starts, event planners trying to figure out scheduling and stuff because we have to go later on at night than earlier on at night for shows.
So do drones actually fly at a height that airplanes fly at, or is it just a interference thing?
That it would be interference and
Okay.
and the distraction, I think, Chris. I mean, he'll know more about the reg. But it's more, making sure that transport has an idea what we're doing so they can advise airplanes and stuff as well, too. So,
And
we limit ourselves to about 400 feet, Arthur. 400 for our shows.
400 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about sort of like safety and regulation. So you mentioned flight paths. So that's obviously very important. But what about other safety considerations, buildings? You mentioned interference. So what are some of the other sort of safety, or the risk management or risk aversion type of things that you take into consideration? Obviously, weather is probably your biggest enemy, right? I mean, that's the number one. So what are the conditions under which drones can fly and cannot fly?
Yeah, no, good
Sorry,
question.
that's a lot of questions.
A lot of questions. I'll go with the weather, and then I can go from there. So weather, light rain, we can operate. Obviously, heavier rain makes it more difficult. Obviously, we don't want to operate in any type of precip, but we've been able to operate in light rain. Winds are more our issue. Winds is when obviously the choreography is at risk. Drones, won't fly the show that the client wants. So it's really what we find and we evaluate, going into the event, whether or not there is that level of risk. We have flown in gusts with gusts, but there are limits on where we can fly when it comes to levels of wind. And that's probably the biggest challenge we face when it comes to operating shows. We were lucky last year when it came to flying. I don't believe we had any weather, but the year before, the two shows that we did operate or that we had to cancel were as a result of wind.
And those were public events or private events?
Both were advertised public events that we had to cancel. Yes.
So that's a real kind of bummer for the people organizing the event, right? So what do you do in a situation like that? Is it just kind of like, well, that's the chance you take, same with fireworks, right? Like if you book fireworks and it's pouring rain, sorry.
What we do is we have either a weather date arranged in advance, or if there are an event the following year for the same client, we reconsider moving it to that, knowing that weather did cancel. But we would work with them one way or the other on a solution that makes sense.
And maybe, I don't know, Peter, if you can maybe touch on this. So what is it like for a day of drone show? Like how what's the setup like? Are you guys coming in with like a truck full of drones, like 600 drones? I'm trying to imagine what this looks like. They're all probably in cases. Like you have to set this up, you have to set up networks and things like that. How long of a setup is this? What does that actually look like to set this up?
So we rely heavy on safety. So we want to make sure that we have the space required. Something that, before I get into the setup, something that event planners should know about flying drones is the number one rule in this industry is thou shalt not fly over people. So that takes a lot of people aback at first, but if you can sit back and think about it, looking at a drone show isn't as fascinating underneath it, because you don't really see what the true picture is unless you're in the viewing area. So viewing area and launch area are not the same place. But yeah, no, we come in. We come in early. I think we're getting. We used to come in a day before, but I think we can get in at least 12 hours. I think it is, Chris. At a
the morning of the event is the latest we come in. We like coming in the night before, and do the show in the middle of the night before, if we could. So that's kind of what we do. But we know there's limitations on spacing. So first thing in the morning is
that seems like
the latest.
I'm just wearing my event planner hat. That seems like, okay, as you're going to come in, this is just me talking out loud, but it seems like a lot of work, because you're going to have to come the night before, unload 600 drones, set them up, fly them up. You're not just going to leave them there overnight. You got to pack them back up, put them somewhere, and then do it all over again the next day, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what we have to do. But we do that because we want to make sure that we do the testing and we have a test of the show beforehand. Just again, testing for interference and making sure that the client gets what they need and we meet expectations.
And how, like, what size of a crew do you use for a 400 or 600 drone show to set up like that?
Yeah, we're talking. I mean, it's a lot of labor to set up and grid, and obviously the more guys we have, the faster we can do it. If we require them all night for the kind of the battery change, it's the more guys the better. But it's usually
You have to
between
change 600 batteries, eh?
change 600 batteries, right? We need
Wow.
the more guys, the faster we can do it. But it can range. If we've got a lot of time and we can do it, eight to 10 guys. But if we want to do a quick change and make it really efficient, we add, another, 6 to 8 guys to make it really fast.
And what about sort of redundancy and backup? I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, okay, so imagine you've got a drone show going up and like a key light goes out for whatever reason. It just goes out. Can you fly another one up there to take its place?
Not yet.
Okay.
That's kind of in the future, as we talk about that, that's what I'd see, have one come down and have it replaced. But yeah, right now once we lose it and, we can lose it from, obviously interference. That's what kind of, it's still kind of the new technology we're obviously trying to get to and get to repairing the choreography, I guess is what I call it.
Anytime you're dealing with like wireless connections, it's really, really challenging. I can tell you that just, dealing with like musicians and wireless mics and wireless systems, even when you're in a controlled environment, it can be really tricky with radio frequencies and things like that. So do you guys have the drones tuned to a specific frequency? Do you have to retune them based on environmental factors like where you are, et cetera?
Yeah, that's where a ton of our testing actually happens, is just ensuring that every one of them are aligned. The compasses are all set and they're all kind of talking from the same computer. And that test kind of happens throughout the day. So we just don't come out, set up the grid, and the time of the show we play it. We actually have hover tests that we do, ensuring all the drones kind of go up and they're operating correctly. Every propeller is kind of looked at. Every battery is looked at. It's a whole timeline, I guess, checklist that really requires to be done before we even get the show off the ground, so that when we do press play at the time of the show, we know every drone has been touched, every path file has been vetted, and the client knows that we've got full control of our fleet and ready to do what we need to do.
Nice. And so what are some of the sort of, red tape, paperwork, regulations, permits and stuff like that? What is involved with the drone show? What do I, as the event planner, have to do, if anything? How does that work? It's rather easy for the event planner. Assuming we are doing it on the property of the event, in that case, we just require permission from the event itself that we're able to launch from their site for the show. If we have to rent an event adjacent to the event, then obviously arrangements and permits would have to be arranged at the adjacent site for us to be able to launch off that site. Outside of that, the rest of the permits, all the federal permits, Nav Canada, Transport Canada, and all the required permits that insurance we would handle. So it's really just permission of the event itself is what we'd require. And so is that something you need to do, like that federal regulations? Is that something you need to do on a per event basis, or you get licensed as a company for the year?
Yeah, so we've got a special flight operations permit to be able to operate. It's a blanket agreement so that we can operate throughout the year. But we obviously still work and communicate with the regulators on every event that we do, allowing them to know, what we're doing, how many drones, when we're doing it. All of that is still required to be disclosed. But yeah, we've got the permit to be able to fly swarms, across Canada.
Okay, so it's a disclosure that you need to make every time you do a show, but there's not a specific permit because you're already licensed. And you can do that in the city, anywhere in Toronto. Anywhere in Canada, there's no limitation to that. Oh, sorry, Peter, I muted you for a sec because we were getting an echo on you. Say that again.
Sorry. Yes, exactly. We basically have to tell transport what's happening at the event, and they allow us to fly because they've given us the SFOC to do so. But yeah, it's a one-off, and every event is done that way right now. And then I think time-wise, we need at least 2 weeks to get a permit done, Chris.
Well, like lead time, I mean, obviously the better. 2 weeks is tight. I would say, that'd probably be the worst case scenario, would be a 2 week lead time for a permit. I would like to get to transport a month out if we do have events. So yeah, I mean, we can push it as late as that, but it can get a little tricky 2 weeks out.
Yeah, it's seems to be a very, I don't know if you guys are noticing this, because I've been in the events space for longer than you have. So I'm doing this for 20 years, plus years. But have you noticed a change in the lead time since you started this to now, over the whole COVID and everything? What's your take on that?
Lead time for permits?
No, for clients booking a show.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely changed. We've actually got good at a fit. We've got it more efficient at doing 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out. I think when we were first looking at this strategy, it was 2 to 3 months, and that was obviously driven from regulatory, but and design. Those are two big tasks that we need to obviously get sorted. And obviously as we got better with design and obviously understood what we had to do with the regulators, our timelines obviously got better. And I'd say 3 to 4 weeks out is kind of that what we're seeing right now in inquiries, I guess.
Right. So basically, you guys watching who have a show next week, don't be calling Christian right now and being like, you need, give yourself a month at least, or 2 or 3. And so you touched on the creative side. So I'd like to learn more about, so what are the possibilities? I saw in one of the videos you guys did, you had a QR code. That's cool. That's really cool. Obviously you can do shapes. Like what are the things you can do, can't do? Or is the sky the limit from a creative standpoint? Colors,
Peter?
Is it RGBA, or is it yeah?
So you said it right there, Arthur. The sky is the limit. I mean, it is a blank canvas. We use 3D software to get the show, I guess, visualized, and we have software that transfers that into flight paths and flight commands. So ultimately, it's the world is your oyster when it comes to drone shows, and that's the best part of the product. It can tell any story any which way you want it. So that's the gist of it. It's really up to how creative you can get, and how creativity varies from market to market, brand to brand, and event to event. So you can make your drone show yours and however you want, and you can change it however you need to change it. But getting back to what we're talking about, lead time, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yes, we pride ourselves on being able to turn around and do things quickly for events. That is our specialty. We're getting better and better at it. But given the budgets and stuff that we need to consider, the more time we have, the better the overall product becomes, and the better we can meet expectations. So, it's money well spent if we have more time to take care of business, basically. So,
you mentioned the
world's
the
your
magic
oyster
word.
when it comes to drone shows.
You mentioned the magic word, budget. So since you brought it up, I was going to anyway, so don't worry. What should we be budgeting for a drone show? Because I don't know. We need a good range so that we can start planning and incorporating these into our events. Now, I'm not going to hold you to it, and I understand there's a lot of factors, and probably the complexity of the design is a factor. Or if you're calling them 2 weeks out and they already have a million shows, well, you're probably going to maybe pay a little bit more for that because it's last minute. But what is a good range on the low end, and then on the high end to get something really spectacular?
So again, it depends on what you want. So managing expectations is key. You touched on it exactly. There's many different factors that go into every event. So, I mean, just being able to fly is one key thing, right? So, and then you've got clients talking about the type of the design they want and how long they want to fly. So really, it can be anywhere from, as little as you need it to be to, however big a budget you want, but it's really managing the expectation. So once you define expectation, and that comes to identifying all the factors and how it's getting taken care of, then we can talk about, what the cost will be. But it's almost impossible for me to tell you what a drone show is going to cost.
I tried, folks. I tried.
It really depends on all those factors. So there's a lot of things. If I can, help with the event planners, they can take care of a lot of stuff that we're not professional at. We're pros at design and putting the show up in the sky and all the licensing and permits. But when it comes to securing areas and fencing and having the actual security, that's all the stuff that needs to come into consideration. And and the event planners, they're the geniuses behind that, and that's why we talk about collaborating. So let's collaborate on your festival and see what we can make happen. But again, it comes down to defining the expectations. So again, I'd like to tell you how much it's going to cost, but I don't know until I know what you guys want.
And the other thing is that, I guess to me, when I think about the difference between, I don't know, when I think about fireworks and versus drone shows, I feel like fireworks are beautiful and people take pictures of them and they share them on social, but there's no real messaging in those fireworks. It's just beautiful fireworks, right? But when you do a drone show and there's actually messaging and there's QR codes and people are sharing, there's real marketing value. I think greater marketing value using a drone show than like a fireworks display.
That is it exactly, Arthur. We can put fireworks up in the sky with drone visuals if you really want that. But we can tell stories, and it's a novel product. So we're getting lots and lots of novel, new, viral content that brands, festivals, everyone wants it. So it's marketing dollars well spent, because inherent in the product is all this novel content, and more importantly, the media and user-generated content you get out of that. So lots of shares, and when I say this QR code that we can put up in the sky, the biggest and probably the most important factor of a drone light show is the engagement we get. If you look at every one of those videos and you look at the people watching, everyone is watching and everyone is recording on their phones, and that gets sent all over the place. And, it turns this IRL event into this global phenomenon now because of the virality of the share. So that QR code that's at this local event can get shared across all the socials and networking that the people at this event will be doing. They are definitely doing.
Yeah. That's very cool. Now, I want to touch on sort of, because I'm consider myself a bit of a futurist. I like to, look to the future, and technology is evolving so rapidly with the advancements of AI. And when you were actually talking about the 3D software, I was thinking about MCPs. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these, but it's a protocol to allow an AI LLM to interact with 3D modeling software like Unity or Unreal Engine, where you can actually just prompt what you want and it creates it. So that's exciting. So that popped into my mind as you were saying that. But then I was also thinking about, more traditional sort of production techniques with lighting where, we use haze to actually create beams of light, or, and I've seen some activations that use lasers projected onto like a mist to create a sort of holographic effect. So what is in the pipeline for drone shows? Am I touching on anything there that sounds like a possible reality, or am I just dreaming?
Well, I wouldn't think you were dreaming, Arthur. I think, the technology itself is relatively novel in general, and you see that drones are doing a whole lot of different things. But as far as when it comes to creative and what we want to do, well, our drones currently can fire off fireworks outside of the light show we're doing right now. So
the actual drones themselves are shooting the fireworks.
You betcha.
We're testing them now, Arthur. The technologies, that's kind of as you said, the next stage of this is now adding, different accessories to the swarm. Lasers is also, up and coming as well. So it's, using the swarm and the technologies that we've seen with pyro and lasers and integrating that into a whole experience.
I think lasers would be sick, but I just assumed that would not be possible just because of the aviation and, obviously you'd have to be pointing the lasers down, but just seems like a super risky on the aviation side. But maybe you know more about that than I do.
Well, the tech is moving that direction. And also, to your point, when you were talking about, kind of the immediate feedback and getting the shows, changing the design, we are seeing that tech already. I believe just recently, I was just looking at some of the tech now where it's been, a lot of the, I guess a lot of a lot of stuff you're seeing right now using keyboards are controlling drones. So live. So we're sort of just starting to see, that kind of evolution into that space. So hopefully over the next couple of years, we really get into that and, pressing a button, we can change things live. That's what I'm hoping to see.
So no last minute changes, guys. Don't come changing up your design 30 minutes before showtime. Okay. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Christian's like,
I don't like to say this, but we have our designer on call. We do testing and we have them ready to go if there's any flaws, until, we finally launch. So it's not saying that it's favored. Obviously it's not, but we do have a guy available to make any last minute corrections for us. Until we actually launch. So right. It gives us that peace of mind. So it's not just a delivered show by a designer and he kind of walks away with it. He's with us until we get that launched. And, that gives us peace of mind that, if there is any changes, and say the client wanted, we have a weather delay of an hour and we can make a change and, it would go a long way for the client, maybe it'd be something we consider, but I wouldn't rely on us to be able to do the changes that close in.
And I was just thinking, so do the drones have any sort of technology built into them that allows them to compete against the wind? I don't really know. Let's say you have a northwesterly wind coming in at whatever. Can you say, we know we have this northwesterly wind, can you adjust accordingly?
So there's two things. Well, obviously it's trying to hold the position. So it may take more power for the drone to hold its position. Another way of looking at mitigating is if we do have higher winds, we look at possibly getting the designer to spread out the drones a little further away. The design itself may look a little different because it's a little further away, but you mitigate risk of having collision knowing that you have higher winds. Obviously, we'd still have to fit within the range of being able to fly, but if it is kind of like within that range, and we want to make that change, that'd be something we'd consider.
And just out of curiosity, in your experimentation and R&D phase, how many drones have you killed?
So I'd say I'm proud to say that ours we run all our drones. We've got stats for all of our stuff. We're at about a 99.1% success rate on our shows. So
I wasn't talking about the shows. I'm sure you do an amazing job, but just in the R&D and the the testing phase, how many did you crunch a bunch of drones or?
We've had a few stories of a swarm or two come out of the sky. We've had to learn a little bit from having to understand what we need to do and what we can't do. So yes, we've got some stories of some casualties to get us to this point.
Well, yeah, you would have to.
We do.
Yeah, you would have to. So before we wrap up, is there any exciting shows that you can tell us about that you may be appearing at? Or obviously you've got Canada's Got Talent. So what's the next phase for you in that?
Yeah, so we're hoping to make it to the next round of Canada's Got Talent. It's the elimination round in May. So they're going to announce something on the 29th of April, whether or not we make it to the next round. And if we do, we will be performing a show on May 6th. And if we do well on that show, we go to the finale, which is on May 13th. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we can make it all the way there. On top of that, we're obviously very excited about our summer. We've got a Canada Day that we're working with the city of Burlington, as well as the city of Sudbury, and obviously we've got we work with the city of Toronto. We've got a 6-year contract with them, so excited to be working with them on a drone show. So hopefully. We'll have more news on what that looks like in the coming months.
Nice. So that means if you see any big drone shows put on by the city of Toronto, they are Illumin Drone Shows. So I can't wait to see that in person. I have actually not ever seen a drone show. Actually, that's not true. I saw one drone show like years ago, like before COVID, really, really early, but I would love to see a good drone show. So I'm looking forward to checking that out in person. And I want to thank you guys for being on the show. This has been like a very enlightening experience. And I hope for people in the audience too. And if you have any questions, I'm sure you can message Christian or Peter or reach out to them via Illumin Drone Shows to get poppin' with drones at your next event. So gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And it's been an absolute pleasure getting to chat with you.
Thank you very much, Arthur.
Thanks, Arthur. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Enjoy your day. Take care, guys.
Ciao.
All right, so that brings to conclusion another episode of That's Entertaining. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, as always, really appreciate if you give a like, you can subscribe, what else can you do? I'm waiting for the thing. You can ding the bell. And you can follow. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Arthur K. And if you want to check out more episodes, you can follow us on YouTube at Fusion Events Interactive, or just search for That's Entertaining on your favorite podcasting platform. And so for me, I am signing out. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.